Hey, everybody, welcome to How I See It, starring Kevin Levrone, brought to you by Levrone Supplements. And now, IFBB Hall of Famer, living legend in the sport of bodybuilding, Kevin Levrone. How are you, Kevin?
I'm doing great, Ron. Happy New Year's to
That's right.
220. We're here.
Yeah, we haven't talked this year. That's right.
Yeah,
Uh,
220.
Man, yeah, you're back home. I know you had a very extensive tour. You went all over the place. I couldn't
Hmm.
even pronounce some of the places you went to. But boy,
Yeah, man, I'm very familiar. But well, hey, that's what the world of the IFBB Pro League has to offer us.
yeah, I mean,
And
man,
I
you
just took advantage of that in 1992, and they said, hey, this is consider it as a business. You're a businessman now. Don't take it personal if you don't win the show.
right, right. Yeah, I mean,
So
yeah. And
yeah.
you did win quite a few, more than your fair share of shows. So this time, what I wanted to do, because everyone's getting hyped up about the Arnold Classic, that's the big show coming up. I
Hmm.
wanted to talk to you about your Arnold Classic memories because you did that show. Geez, one, two, three, four, five, six, 7 times. You won it
Twice.
twice. Yeah. So I just wanted to walk through because I know you must have some really cool memories from the Arnold Classic.
Hmm.
Because man, there's only one Olympian, there's only one Arnold. So
Yeah, it is.
let's start from your very first one. You won your first attempt at the Arnold back in 1994.
Hmm.
Top five was you, Kevin Levrone, Vince Taylor, Porter Cottrell, Chris Cormier, and late Andreas Munzer. So
Yes.
that was your one, two. That was your third, the beginning of your third pro season. What do you
Hmm.
remember most about your first Arnold Classic and the win?
Well, I mean, the memory of is the welcome that you get from Mr. Lormer,
Mm,
and of course, everybody's dream is to meet Arnold.
mm,
And that sets the stage for everything.
yeah.
Um, just when I walked into the hotel room, it was the first show I ever been to where you actually walk in your room when you check in, and they have a greeting card. They have a like a gift basket and
Mm,
everything in your hotel room when you check in there,
wow.
and it's like amazing. I was like, wow, So they definitely put that extra touch on it to make it more than just a bodybuilding competition and make you feel like you're part of a huge event and you're special. Each and every individual, you're special. If you look at the Arnold Classic, uh, Mr. Lormer and Arnold, they've took it far beyond bodybuilding, to this point and
Oh
day and
yeah.
time.
And it
But
should be noted that when you won it back then, all it was men's and women's bodybuilding.
yeah, it was men's and women bodybuilding, but we just felt like all of us felt like winners, by being a part of that event. And another thing that I remember is that just the welcome that we got from Arnold
Mm,
when you win that show.
yeah.
Back then, the winner, had an opportunity to, you do the whole breakfast thing the next morning with him. And back then, I think the winners, I think we had an opportunity to spend some time with him. It opened a lot of doors for me because that was the opportunity that I had to ask Arnold, and Arnold actually brought me out to the movie set of In the Days. You
Wow.
know,
Yeah.
yeah.
I saw that picture when I did Google
Hmm.
Images. If you put in Kevin Levrone and Arnold Schwarzenegger, I think there's a picture where he's on the set with like a gun or something,
Yeah, man. He
and you're
brought
right
me
there
out on
with
the
him.
movie set, and it was
Wow.
all due to from that competition when I won that show.
Mm,
And he just went over and beyond, and Mr. Loma went over and beyond with not only the overall winner, but each and every one of the contestants to make you feel like it's more than just bodybuilding; it's a production.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
let me ask you, because we all idolized Arnold growing up and watched the movies, from Pumping Iron all the way down to those big action blockbusters. This was the first time you actually got to meet him, and you got to hang out with him like a buddy there. That was, that must have been insane. My head would probably explode in that situation. What was it like?
Yeah, it was really cool, man. I won the show and I got back home to Baltimore, and I think it was about 3 weeks later, and Arnold had called my gym, and
Hmm.
and I got that invite to come out and be on the movie set of End of Days. And I remember packing so much stuff because I wasn't so used to traveling and everything back then.
Yeah.
You know, I had just turned pro in '92, so this is '94. So I had about like three bags of suitcases of clothes. And Arnold says, "What are you doing?" When I got there, you know, it was a limo to pick me up at the airport, of course, and everything, and he drove me straight to his trailer out on the movie set. And he says, "What are you doing with all that stuff?" And I says, "I don't know. I'm coming to California." He goes, "Oh, well, I want to give you a word of advice." He goes, "Buy as you go. You don't need to carry all that because you're going to have to carry it back with you." And it really, it rung close to me because, you know, then I started traveling around the world doing all the tours, and I would just, you know, take a few things that I needed and I would buy things as I go along. And it really helped me out a lot. So we're sitting there in this trailer, and I spent like 3 days with him.
Wow.
And yeah, I spent 3 days with him.
I don't think any other Arnold Classic champ can say that. I think he singled you out for whatever reason.
And you know, sitting there in his trailer, I remember Walter Von Huny was his acting coach. Me and Walter still stay in touch today. And I was sitting there picking his brain because Arnold, you know, he knew that I was coming, and at the time that I was coming, I think they were in the middle of shooting one of the scenes, and that's when they said, "Well, we're going to take you down on set." You know, so they took me down on set, and you know, he took his time to take that picture with me down on set. And then after that, we went back to the trailer and spent, you know, because he would take a break after each scene that he films, and we spent some time talking, and he really filled me in on his love for the sport of bodybuilding. Because I had so many questions, you know, for Arnold Schwarzenegger, and I was like, man, I got to get it all in while I can. And I just talked about Joe, and he told me how instrumental Joe was with his posing, and just you know, the risk that he's taken and everything. And I was just sucking it all in. And then I said, well, how did you get into acting? And at that time, you know, you gotta remember, I wanted to follow in his footsteps, you know.
Yeah.
So we started talking about that, and he says, hey, I want you to read these books, and then when you read these books, you know, get in touch with me, let me know you're done reading these books. So he gave me a lot of work to do when I came back to Maryland, and I did that, and I reached back to him, and he says, okay, I'll connect you with who I think is a good acting coach in California. So we remained to stay in contact, and I went to Milton Carcelis. That's what we recommend. And California, and I went out there, saw my gym, and I got in. That's what propelled me to get into the movie industry.
Wow. Yeah.
So it was like, man, you know, he was there, and he's still there to the day, you know, inspiring us all, man. And it's like I said, I talked to Walter. Me and Walter still in contact, and when I see Arnold, I don't even have to speak a whole lot. It's like, you know what? It's very appreciative. So. Yeah, that's who he is, and who the man that he is, man. He's really very, very, very passionate about bodybuilding. He's passionate about, if you work hard and he sees that you work hard, then he admires that. Yeah. He's not gonna, you know, because he had to put that work in himself, right? You know, sacrificing coming here from Germany and everything, where he was, and he says, hey, if you do this, that's why I said, you read these books, you do this, then you contact me. And then he, you know, he was like, hey, well, tell me about those books. I was like, okay, blah, 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 blah. All right. And then it just took off from there, man. And that's what it is. So everything is greater the sacrifice, greater the reward, because that would have never happened if I didn't, you know, win that show. Sacrificed to win that show, didn't cheat on my diet, and that was the first show I won after my horrible pec injury.
Yeah,
you know,
you were just starting to train for the '93
so
Arnold Classic, right?
It just meant so much to me, man. So for all the guys that's entering in each and every one of the Arnold, and Arnold knew everything about each and every one of the contestants. He already knows who's going in. He already knows. He's done his research on all of us. And if you can remember that first year, he would commentate the show and
Yeah.
talk about, hey, his lower back is weak, or look at his physique, and oh, he needs to suck his stomach in here, and he's doing this. So Arnold was very up on top of each and every athlete, what we're doing all on social media now, but it wasn't back then. And he's just a genius, man. And to be a part of that, two-time champion, hey,
Yeah. Well, let's
you
talk
know,
about 96. You won again in 96. The top five was you. Flex Wheeler gave you a great fight that year. Third was Paul Dillette. Fourth, Vince Taylor. Fifth, Sean Ray. And sixth, that was the last show, I believe. Andreas Munzer did. I think he passed away very shortly after that. But one thing I remember, I was there working with Lou Zwick. We did the 1 hour production special for ESPN that year.
yep,
And the intro to the show was hilarious because Lou filmed it. It was in the warm up area. It was you,
yeah,
Flex, Vince, and Sean.
it was Sean Ray.
And Arnold was coming up to each you individually and saying how great you were and you were going to win the show.
Yeah, and I was like, no, 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 hold up, Arnold. Now you done told everybody we're great,
Yeah.
So yeah, there was little skits that we would do, man, and
But you had the best part because you were the one that came up and actually you were the last guy and you actually had that
yeah.
line. How can we all be the best?
But I remember the Arnold Classic, and all that all happened backstage in the pump up room. The pump up room is huge,
Yeah.
for our listeners out there and people that
It's
want
no longer there. The Veterans Memorial is gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what the pump up room is today. I'm pretty sure it's a nice hefty one, but it was a lot of media. All the media from Weider, all the media from Muscular Development. Everything happened back there. It set the precedence for what the show was going to be about going out on stage, because it fired the athletes up too. It was like a production, man. And it was just great. Food backstage, hey, let's face it, this Arnold Classic was the first event where in bodybuilding history, even it started here. Tom Arnold, was a friend of Arnold Schwarzenegger. So Arnold would bring his buddies like Tom Arnold there, and they would come and watch the Arnold Classic and be backstage with the athletes, these actors from Hollywood that were so untouchable. So, Arnold was the one that bridged that gap for us.
Yeah. What do you remember most about that? That was a close show. I mean, you and Flex were they were calling you guys out for a long time trying to figure out what to do.
I remember, but Flex looked really good.
Yeah.
He looked really good.
You guys were, I mean, that was a hell of an era. The 90s, we talk about, I say it all the time. I hate to sound like a broken record, but man, there were some battles back in those days. Some battles.
It was some nice battles, man. I think George Bush, the first George Bush, was president back then. Yeah.
Right. Herbert Walker. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember my posing routine, every movement, everything.
What was the song?
It was One Small Step for Man, One Step for Mankind. No, 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 no. It was Carmona Burana. It was a Carmona Burana classical song that I had done and posed to it. So,
and all I remember is Creed. But anyway, so I like Creed. So,
and Joe Weider, man, Joe Weider had a lot to do with it. Arnold always followed out Joe Weider's wishes, man. And the Arnold Classic is one of the best shows ever.
So you came back the next year, and that was not the best year. You did 8th place that year when Flex won. Were you injured that year? I can't remember what happened to you in 97.
Tore my tricep.
Tore your tricep, yeah. Well, that'll do it. And your triceps were until Phil Heath came along, you were the king of. There was nobody that had triceps like that. So to tear one of those, how was it? A full tear? Did he have to get reattached?
I did it doing lat pull downs, actually.
Lat pull downs. Jeez, dude.
Yeah.
Okay. You should try some.
And it was just took the wind out of my sails,
Yeah, and I mean, you still went ahead and did the show because you were contracted to.
Yeah, I always commit to it. I always commit to it. I mean, yeah. So that's part of competing. You can't win them all.
Yeah. Okay, so 1999, you come back and you took second only because Nasser El Somebody. That was probably one of the best versions of Nasser I ever saw. Was that was a great year for him. That's the year he took second to Dorian at the Olympia too. So that was probably his prime, and you pushed him hard, but
Yeah.
yeah, Nasser
Yeah,
took
he
that.
was real massive, man.
I
NASA
want
was massive. NASA was a version
to.
because he didn't talk a whole lot. Personality was real dry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I first met NASA. He was in Germany with Bert Bodyback and coming out of medical school, and his parents was totally against him getting involved in bodybuilding
Wow.
because they were prominent business people and everything. And he was just so driven on bodybuilding. It's a shame, God rest his soul.
Mm.
But NASA just, he dove in all, and then it just turned to, to tragedy for him afterwards. So
Yeah. So just to run down, the rest of the top five that year was third place Chris Cormier, fourth place some guy named Jay Cutler, and then fifth place.
can you believe that?
I
Back
believe
it
it.
up again.
Yeah, it was. I think that's the first year I saw him. I think I
So,
saw him at the Pro Ironman that year, and
and
I was
what
like, huh,
what year was that?
99,
In
1999,
1999, Jay Cutler was
fourth.
fourth at the Arnold Classic.
Yeah,
And
and
I'm repeating this because I want people to know that Jay never quit. Jay grew, and he grew into being Mr. Olympia. So there you go.
yeah, I think
You
that
know,
year he did the Olympia and got like 13th or 14th
I
or something.
know, right?
Yeah, he
And that's the
didn't.
beautiful thing when I sit back and I look at these guys who have triumphed over and far beyond. Like they've grown. And Ronnie Coleman, another one. Jay
Mm.
Cutler.
Oh, he's coming up
It's
too. He's coming up.
yeah, it's beautiful to
Yeah.
see that, man.
Oh, did he even place? Let me see, because one of these shows, he was top five
I
in one
don't
of
I
those.
don't remember Ronnie
Oh, you know what?
placing
The year you
until
took eighth, 97, Ronnie was fourth place that year.
oh he was
Yeah, yeah.
yeah
It was Flex, Nasser, Mike Francois, Ronnie, and Vince
wow
Taylor. Yeah. Okay, so 2000, you came back. You got third place. Flex won it again. It was Chris Cormier in second. You were third. Dennis James in fourth, and some guy
wow.
named Dexter Jackson in fifth place.
Can you believe that? And all these guys went on to be Mr. Olympia, man.
Well, Cormier didn't. Cormier took second place at that show 6 years in a row.
Wow.
Yeah, poor guy. Can you imagine that?
Yeah.
Same show, six years in a row.
Wow.
2002, you took fifth, and that was a Jay Cutler win. That was, I believe, his first.
Mm,
He won it 3 years in a row. That was the first year. So it was Cutler, Cormier, Dexter, Lee Priest, and you.
mm.
Uh, by this time, I think we were all starting to think Jay was a lot better than I originally gave him credit for.
Well, he got better. He got better.
He
Yeah,
did.
he
He
got
did.
better. And that's what it is. Bodybuilding is a growing experience. You gotta withstand the storm. Not only you might come in, you might look like you should be Mr. Olympia, but you're not mentally developed to be ready mentally to handle that pressure of what
Yeah.
that title demands on you. And Jay definitely grew into his own, man.
Yeah. Because I remember when you
Mhm.
won the Nationals, me and everybody else said, this guy's going to kick everybody's ass. He's awesome. When Jay won a couple years later, I was like, I don't know. I don't know how he's going to do as a pro. Because he didn't even win the overall at the Nationals, remember?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Lost to the light heavy, Willie Stallings. Uh, okay, so the final year you did the Arnold Classic was 2003. It was another Cutler win, another Cormier second place, Marcus Rule in third place, and now Dexter moved all the way up to fourth place.
Wow.
Yeah, and that was 2003. That was your last year for until
For
what
everything.
2016. Yeah,
Yeah,
right. Yeah.
yeah.
So what
I
did you
just knew
know?
at that time it was about time for me to say, "Hey, you know what? I'm done."
I
Hmm.
mean, yeah. What was? I'm just curious.
Well,
What?
my goal on the radar was the Olympia.
Mm,
That was my goal on the radar.
yeah.
And when that didn't happen in 2000 and 2002, I kind of was like, "What's the point?" I
Right.
think that last year I was just going through
Yeah. I mean, I remember the year.
filling out my obligations.
Yeah, because the
Yeah,
last year you took second to Ronnie, I want to say was it 01? Was it 02?
2002.
2002. That was the year I was like,
Yeah. And then
man,
2003, I was just out of gas. I was like,
well, I
what's the
mean,
point?
you could tell at that point it just
Because I won everything else in the world. I was like, hey,
literally,
so
literally
what's
every
the
other
point of
show.
pushing the gas?
Yeah.
So
So,
yeah, that was it
okay.
for me.
Okay.
But hey, bodybuilding gave me everything so much to what I can be so thankful for today. You know,
Yeah. Well, I want
and
to. I know you're not totally up on who's doing the show, but I want to get you excited and hyped up because this is going to be a great. This is one of the best lineups I think the Arnold's had in. I want to say like 6 or 8 years.
mhm,
Because we got Bonac who won the show before. He won it a couple years ago.
mhm,
We got Victor Martinez making this his last Arnold probably. Cedric, who won it in 2017, is coming back.
mhm,
Big Ramy is doing it for the first time. He's never done the Arnold Ohio.
mhm.
Sergio Oliva coming back. He hasn't done this show. He hasn't. Well, he's never done this. He hasn't competed since the 18 Olympia.
Mhm.
Rolly Winkler coming back. Man, it's a stacked lineup. I hope you're going. You're going the Arnold, right?
Yeah, I'll be there.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
Is your company almost ready to start
Yes.
the US launch?
Yes, we are.
Okay, awesome. Is it going to be at
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Arnold?
We'll probably be there. Yeah.
Okay. No. Well, we'll hopefully talk soon of that because people are going to want
Yeah,
to know.
man.
People are going to want to check it out.
Well, we've been planning this for a long time,
I know.
and
Yeah.
it's not a decision that you can just. It's not about. It's just you gotta do things depending on the market and what uh, the time and everything. So I've been overseas. We're in 70 different countries around the world right now,
Yeah. Wow.
and I had to prove myself that this is not a flash, just thought, ego-driven company. It's not about me. It's about the products that speak for themselves, and we withstand the storm of the whole entire world.
Yeah.
We're in countries where successful American companies can't even stand ground. They fail.
Yeah.
So, like I said, we're looking forward to coming here. I'm looking forward to offering products to my fans here, and we're 5 years into this thing. It'll be a 5-year anniversary,
Wow.
February the 15th,
Wow. Congrats.
coming up. Yeah,
That's a
thank you,
mile.
man.
That's a
So
milestone.
we hit a milestone, and my huge, biggest fan base is actually here in America.
Hmm.
But hey, you. So I'm just I'm I'm humbled, man. I'm very very humbled,
Yeah.
you
You
know,
know. You know what
and
else is doing well, and this is something Americans can take advantage of. They don't have to wait. Is the Shaboom training system?
yeah.
Yeah. So tell me how do people
So
get info on that?
the website, they can go to the website, download my training thoughts, my ideas, and everything.
Yeah.
It's all uploaded there.
Which
And
website is that?
shaboom.com.
Oh, Shaboom. You got that? Okay.
Yeah,
Nobody got that first. Good.
no.
Shaboom.
Um, yeah. So it's just, you know, um, the platform that the IFBB, the NPC, and everything could lay out for us globally.
Mm.
Uh, just I look back and I think now, man, you know, I'm able to feed my son and his grandkids and everybody else,
Yeah.
because what a dream come true, so yeah, when I think about Arnold, I think about his show and the platform that he laid down and what he stood for all of us. It allows me to be in this position here today, and not once do I ever do a interview anywhere around the world. I don't think about the platform that the IFBB and Joe and Jim May has actually provided for us. So
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to being at the Arnold Classic this year. Looking forward to bringing the Levrone Signature Series here, and I can't even believe it's yeah. I'm happy, man. So
Yeah. I mean, yeah, hard work pays off. Persistence pays off. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I
Good.
remember somebody telling me one time 5 years ago. They said supplement companies with bodybuilders' names on a supplement company will never be successful.
Ah. Okay. Wow.
And I took that advice and I said, you know what? If it's up to me, it will be.
Mm.
You know. And when I go out on the road, man, I see my brother Jay over there kicking it, doing his thing. So
Yeah.
proud of him. I see Ronnie International, right? Because
Yeah.
me and Ronnie, we did our thing around the world, bro.
Oh yeah.
I
Yeah.
always call him up, man, and just I don't know. Even Lee Labrada and Rich Gaspari, Richie, he won the Arnold Classic and everything. I mean, the inspiration, just being. This is a beautiful sport, the IFBB and what it allows us to do, man. So anybody out there, man, I just want to tell you guys, man, if you haven't been to the Arnold Classic, go to the Arnold Classic because it's a memory that will feed your your driving force for a lifetime that will flourish into something grateful and successful, and everybody ends up seeing Arnold. He shakes your hand. He comes.
Mm.
When I'm at shows like the Arnold Classic in Spain,
Yeah.
right? Wherever I'm at, we have booths over there, and Arnold comes, man.
Mm.
He still remembers all those days and times and from the past and see where I went. He's like, yeah, I'm proud of you. So
Mm.
it's great.
That is very cool. So,
It's
guys,
awesome, man.
I want to tell everyone for more info, you go to arnoldsportsfestival.com. That's got all the info on not only the Columbus, Ohio Arnold, but the other ones he has internationally too. So,
Well, I want to say one thing also.
yeah.
We're sitting here talking and talking and talking. Tony Doherty,
Mm.
can't forget about Tony.
Arnold Classic
And
Australia.
there you go.
Yeah.
And again, the same way Arnold has reached back and helped fellow bodybuilders like myself, Tony Doherty is someone who him and Arnold are like brothers now.
Mm.
And Tony has always sacrificed for Sonny Smith, for I remember going and doing the Australian show, back in the 90s, and
Mm.
to see where Tony has come, and with Bob Lormer and Jim Lormer and that whole organization just opened the floodgates, and what Tony has done for the Arnold, and being involved in the sacrifices that he's done for each and every one of us, you know,
Mm.
being involved, being on stage, just everything, and that's what Arnold does, man. He always sees that hard working individual, and Tony's one of the hard working, probably other than Arnold, and hard work. Well, on the pro level,
Yeah.
promoting the Arnold Classic is Tony Doherty,
Yeah.
and there's a reason why Arnold trusts that guy. You know what I mean? And it's beautiful to see that and be a part of it, because I remember way before Tony even thought about getting into the Arnold Classic, and boom, here he is. When you think about Arnold Classic, you also think about Tony Doherty now.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah. So, man.
yeah. I don't want to rank the Arnolds, but I mean, that one after the Arnold, Ohio, that's the one I hear people talking about the most.
Australia, yeah.
Australia. Melbourne.
Definitely, man.
Yeah, cool.
And it's coming up. When is the Arnold Australia? Week
Two
after,
weeks.
right?
It's 2 weeks after. 2 weeks after.
2 weeks now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
No.
depending on my schedule, I hope I can make it out there, man. And but Tony will be in Columbus, Ohio, meeting and greeting all the athletes backstage, because it's like when you see Arnold now, you see Tony. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you see Bob.
Bob Lormer. Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
yeah, I mean, this the platform is it's a lot of love, man. A lot of love.
Yeah, it's just like a family atmosphere, I think, with the Arnold shows.
Oh, of course
That's how
it
it feels to
is.
me.
Of course it
Yeah.
is. And the competitors getting in this contest. I know we haven't talked about them yet, but I think your introduction said enough. That everybody knows who they are. It's one of the best lineups that we've seen in a very, very long time at the Arnold Classic. And there's no doubt, guys, go out and get your tickets. If you haven't gotten them, get your tickets now, because it's always going to be a sold out event again.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
And
yeah.
you got some front runners coming up in there. And like you said, Remy is his first Arnold Classic.
Yeah.
So that's
Very
going to be
exciting.
interesting to see what he brings to the table, Ron.
Especially
we haven't
because
seen him in 2 years.
that's right. I mean, I hope he comes in looking the way I want him to look. I'd love to see that guy win. I think it'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Then again, as an old man, I want to see Dexter win too.
I mean, and you know what, Dexter, man, that's that stage right there. That's his stage. How many times did he win that show?
5. Yeah, could be 6. We'll see.
I got my money on Dexter.
I wouldn't bet
Sorry,
against him.
guys, but I got my money on on DX, baby.
I mean,
Got my
that's it
money
would
on
be a fool.
DX.
It'd be a
Yeah,
foolish bet against him. I'll tell you that, guys.
I'm telling you
He's
that right now.
he
Yes,
stole the
sir.
blade. Stole the blade. So, all right. Well, Kevin, thank you so much for taking the time, taking us through all those memories of the Arnold Classic. Excellent show that's coming up, and we're all getting hyped up because that's how we kick off the contest season. Arnold Classic,
Yeah,
always
man.
exciting, always a great show.
I want to thank
All
you,
right.
Ron. I want to thank Steve Blackman and Muscle Development and his vision for giving us this platform, man. So I'm looking forward to seeing you there. And thank you, Steve, and the whole Muscle Development team.
Cool. All right. This has been How I See It with Kevin Levrone, brought to you by Levrone Supplements. We'll see you next time.